very good running the option so far. Now, this formation would not suggest option like they've shown in the game.
If they pick up the first down, it's game over. And Anaya Smith appears to
that's a generous spot.
Well, the official from the far sideline is running in. Well, both officials look like they're going to spot him short, so apparently he rolled across the line to make, and it's fourth down. And now a decision. The field goal ices it, but so does the first down.
For 315 yards.
With you.
I think you're my offensive line, too. I run the football here.
Plus, you already missed the field goal from about this distance from the right hash mark earlier in the game with an ugly kick.
I think Jimbo's going to let the clock go all the way down, call timeout, and make his final decision. And I think you run the football here.
Because even if you don't make it, Auburn would have to go the length of the field with no timeouts and get a 2-point conversion just to tie you.
Texas A&M, 30-second timeout.
Seth Smalls had a solid season. They haven't called upon a lot. He was 6 for 7
going right now.
Nobody's in it. I just tweeted it.
I think you run the football here.
You want me to send him
Now,
a
the
Zoom
only
one?
thing I don't like, I don't love
This guy.
There's a lot I like about Kellen Mond.
Hit him
I
off.
don't
They're going to try
love
the field goal. Jimbo just fist bumped it there, so he sends it out.
All right. Here we go.
Go down that path.
All right.
Field goal attempt, minute 13.
I mean, this certainly makes sense because it does ice the game.
But so does the first down with 6 inches to get. Your offensive line is mauled.
Oh, whoa.
You also missed
Okay.
the block.
I don't like it.
33-yard attempt.
Wow,
It is
it's
just
good.
Barely good.
Wow, that shaved the inside of the upper right.
All
All right, 31-20, Ags, 109 to go. Let's see how this ends.
Head-to-head with Auburn.
Well, regardless, I think it ends with me in the shirt of shame.
Stop kicking this. Don't kick the camera.
You don't put the camera where it can be kicked.
I think you need to retrieve the 2 bottles.
It's an impressive performance by A&M. You know, they're coming off the game after 20
We already started.
They played good defense
Yeah.
against LSU, but not good offense. And they came out today. They were pretty complete
Victory
on both
scotch.
sides of the ball.
Drown your
Sadness
sorrows
bourbon.
in the bourbon.
Very solid. Isaiah Spiller, tough running, offensive line. Very
4 roses.
And again, they played defensively without their leading
Ron
sacker.
Swanson
Michael
approved.
Clemens did not play in the football game out with a footage.
Hold on, everybody. Squeeze. 109.
Jimbo talked last night. You know, it's been a team effort all season long. They've had weeks when the offense
I'm on
isn't
record
good,
in
very
favor
good,
of
like
going
last
for it
week.
there.
The defense was good. They've
Are
had
you?
weeks when it's been the other way
Is that
around.
because the shirt
They're very
of
solid.
shirt of shame was riding on that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
That might have something to do with it.
Okay.
Also, I just don't like giving Bo Nix the ball back.
This year.
Well, I hear you.
So
You did.
no
You messed up my
timeouts, a minute.
I guessed it up. Slide on over.
You make it 2 scores. Yeah.
Mississippi State
I just think
next week.
your massive offensive line can get a foot
Probably
and
two
in the
regular
game,
season games left
and it would
for
already be over right
A&M.
now. So
Here's how they size up with the top
we'll see.
4 teams. 1 loss against Alabama. Clemson's 1 loss, of course, to Notre Dame. They'll perhaps have a chance to avenge that, like we will in the ACC championship game. It'll be interesting, though. Let's say all those teams ahead of A&M.
We need a pick 6.
I definitely need a pick 6.
went out.
You
Then they're not
you
gonna
need a
win.
pick 6.
Yeah.
I will happily give you the pick 6 and the shirt.
What they need is
Come
what
on.
we showed earlier in the card,
We need to
too.
stop. We need to stop.
They need Notre Dame to beat
Oh,
Clemson
okay.
again. It would help if Alabama
All right.
All right.
Clock
First
runners.
down,
They're
but
gonna get in
Well,
ahead of a 2-loss
stop for the first down.
yeah, got to stop for the first down. 58 seconds to go.
Ohio State gets knocked out. I think you'd have to say A&M would have the stronger resume if they were both 1-loss teams.
Okay.
Then they
Incomplete.
probably need some help. Yeah, but if they do win out.
Second and 10.
For sure. I mean, they're going to be sitting there. You know, the fact that they won't be playing.
You're the greatest play-by-play man of all time.
You want me to do some play-by-play? Because I can do it.
No.
I'll beat you to death with my play-by-play for the last 50 seconds.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I'm not going to tempt fate. Come on. Let him outside. Don't let him outside. I'll take that. Keep them all. Keep everything in front of you. There we go. 43 seconds.
Down to 43 seconds.
You guys are all
First down.
watching. I know you guys are all watching. We started a little early.
Nobody's watching.
That's not true. We got some folks online already. Check it out.
All right.
Oh, what was that? Is that McKinley? Yeah.
They've had more than 16 minutes more time of possession. From that standpoint, they've had control of the game.
Outside. Defense, number 35. Contact in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Cheap 5.
Relatively
Somebody get home. Somebody get home and get this kid down.
Been penalized just twice. Well officiated game by James Carter and his crew.
Whatever. Well officiated. No such thing.
A&M scheduled to play Ole Miss. The schedule just revamped this week.
All right. Get him, Aaron. Get him. Get him. Yes. Nice. Huge right there.
Clock's going.
Clock moving. About to go under 30. It's going to be second down and 12. Spike the ball. Now it's going to be third and 12 with 27 seconds left. That was huge play by Hansford. Man, Leal got way too inside. He got him out of the pocket.
Next Saturday, and then
Hansford with a good tackle. That's a tough dude to get down.
Now, if Alabama were to lose a couple times, then A&M was a champion.
As we've seen many times today.
Many times.
Third down, 12.
Again, Hansford again. Flush him out. Take that all day long. It's now 4th and 8.
21 seconds.
21 seconds. 4th and 8.
They're also watching the game. So.
They're watching the game.
They're watching.
Being his coach, the other layer of connection that's interesting to me is that the guy who was Patrick Nix's backup that then became a fine starting quarterback in his own right here, Damian Craig, is a wide receiver coach with Jimbo at Texas A&M. So back here at Jordan Hare is an assistant coach.
Why does Todd Blackledge keep saying Jordan Hare? Who is Jordan?
These two programs.
That's it, baby. Our ball, taking the knee.
Intended for Seth Williams. So the Aggies will take over on
Victory formation. All right, hand me that remote because I'm going to pop this TV over to Bama LSU.
Okay, hang on. Okay.
Well, you want to watch this, Neil?
Yes.
Watch this, Neil. You want to watch? You want to see zeros?
I need to see zeros, man.
Okay, I got you.
Of course.
Don't think we're going to need.
We're not going to need the Drown Your Sorrows bourbon.
Just
It's a Lagavulin day drinking kind of game. There we go. All right. All right. Audio's good.
Yeah. 2, 1. There we go.
All right.
Finishes the game with 510 yards of total offense.
I'm starting small. I'm
Okay.
going to start small, and we're going to finish small.
All right, guys, here we go. Ags win 31-20 over Auburn. They move to 7-1. Holy crap, it wasn't easy.
It was not easy at all. It was the opposite of easy. It was very scary.
It was a scary day. It started off well, had its bumps, and then talent took over. And first things first, sir. Stop messing with the remote.
Sorry.
Victory Scotch.
Victory Scotch.
To the Ags. Oh. That is excellent. Okay, a lot to get into here. a hell of a lot. I'm going to take this off.
Yep. Ooh. Should we put
Syracuse
Dame on?
Notre Dame. Let's check that out.
Looks
That'll
like
work.
it's just getting started, but we'll
First off, so I've had a couple of folks. There you go. What are you doing?
No, I can't. I don't have a volume indicator, and it doesn't seem to want to. Anyway,
I got this. There we go.
Can't work your space TV.
Syracuse, okay. Notre Dame. Notre Dame's up 3-0. We'll have this on in the background, but first things first. Wow. Did that feel like an 11-point win to you?
No. It felt like we lost, to be honest. I think it's just because of the stress level throughout the entire game. But not all that surprising.
It's not surprising when you go to the Plains and you play Auburn. You play Auburn any year, right? But some things played out the way we thought they would, but that's because we didn't take care of business early.
Exactly. Early, it looked like we didn't have anything to fear.
Nothing.
We go down and we score a touchdown on the first drive for only the third time in Kellen Mond's career.
Yes.
And then the offense is humming along again on the second drive, and just bad mental errors keep you from scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, one really bad call on a chop block, which was not a chop block.
Yeah.
At least, not by the spirit of the rule. They caught Wiedermeyer in traffic. A guy basically fell into his legs.
Yeah.
He didn't actively block him.
Yeah.
And
Wiedermeyer was trying to get to the second level, and
exactly.
Somebody chopped him into him, basically. He wasn't even trying.
But that put us in a 2nd and 19. We got a little bit of it back. And then on the next play, 3rd and long, which was going to become a theme today, Kellen threw what sounds like was a good ball downfield to Hezekiah Jones on the left sideline. The folks in the stadium said it hit him right in between the numbers and he dropped it. Still, it was there for him. The lane opened up right in front of Kellen. Could have picked up a first down, could have moved the chains. And that was going to be a theme later on in the game. And it really kind of started to haunt the Aggies. So they missed an opportunity there. Auburn goes down and gets a field goal. Right. So I think at that point it's 7-3.
Well, we missed a field goal. We missed the field goal that
on that drive.
Right?
You're right. We missed that one, and then they turn around.
Then they get the field goal.
Yep, exactly. Things bogged down a little bit.
Yeah, but we do get the ball back, still up 7-3, and start driving again and get inside the 3-yard line. And oh boy,
on 3rd and 2.
On 3rd and 2,
instead of running 3rd and goal from the 2.
Yeah.
Instead of running the football, we go shotgun and we try to pass. Kellen evades a rusher.
Yeah.
And then his knee hits the turf. And we basically lost a lot of momentum right there. You should have been up 17-3 at that point.
At that point, you missed the field goal. You should have got a touchdown there. You end up with nothing.
Yep.
Why do we end up with nothing? What do I miss?
I don't know. I think we're getting some things a little out of order there, but that's okay. We don't have the drive chart in front of us. But bottom line, Ags had every opportunity to step on Auburn's throat early, turn their offense into something they don't want to be. Okay, which is having Bo Nix
throwing the football.
Yeah, throwing the football, coming from behind, because from that point on, Auburn started running the football at us and started to get back in the football game, and in fact took the lead. One of, I think, 2 points in the game they would lead.
Yep.
And then from there on out, it felt like all the way through the second quarter, all the way through the third quarter, we're trying to find our groove. We're trying to get it going again. And now, eventually we did. We wrestled the lead back, right? And then, some good things started happening late in the game. Defense started getting stops. And then going back to the earlier point about Kellen not running on that 3rd and long, made a huge, huge decision with about
9 in the 3rd.
Well, 9 in the 3rd, he decided that was his first time to escape from the pocket.
First time escape from the pocket we saw that day. Are you talking about the final drive?
I was talking about the final one.
Okay. Which was the one we were all screaming for, right?
Yes.
Like, if it's not there, run. We're just sitting there pre-snap going, just please, for the love of God, run. Because such a high leverage situation.
Exactly.
And you had to have the first down. And by all means, throw the ball if it's there. But if anything looks weird, please just take off. And
take
go.
off. Get the first down. Move the chains. Yeah. That's what killed A&M's defense today.
Yeah.
Is they might even have gotten into some good situation and put some pressure on Nix, but he would escape and he would pick up the first down. And that is devastating to your defense because you do everything right and you still give up the big yards.
It's demoralizing.
Yep.
And it wears you out.
It does. And Kellen's really struggled to do that. We talked about last week against LSU. You know, I made the point. Kellen had 22 incompletions in the game. We punted 11 times before he ever left the pocket on an unscheduled run. And that just killed us all day because it was there. And today it was there again. Now he did it when we absolutely had to have it. He made a huge play. And as the announcer said, you know, Jimbo's been begging him to do it all day, and he finally did. Yeah. It was the biggest play of the game.
It was the biggest play of the game. And it's interesting they kept pointing that out because I speculated maybe, I don't know, several times this year that Jimbo is almost kind of beating that out of him, that he wants him to be a pure pocket passer. And maybe that's not the case.
Maybe not. Somebody was asking on a text, you know, why didn't he do that or whatever? And I still think where Kellen struggles the most is just in decision making. He can handle the one or two things he's got to manage, but he's kind of locked into making that play, and he doesn't process it quick enough. It's just a split second. If he could see what other people tend to see and other quarterbacks do see, across the country, take off and just beat you with your legs. But for whatever reason, you know, he really struggles with that. I don't think he's trying to be a pure pocket passer. I think it's in his DNA, man. Yeah. Like he's just kind of locked into trying to complete a pass, and only when there's just no other option is he going to take off running. Yeah. And luckily he did today. It was a huge play.
We'll see about that. Maybe he's turns a corner today a little bit in that respect. I mean, we've kind of seen him turn some corners as the season goes on.
Right.
And so you hope he continues to do that. I think, again, today, better in the decision-making department than he was against LSU in terms of making the decision and committing quickly enough. Still not where he got to against Arkansas and South Carolina when things were really humming before the Corona break really killed our momentum. So hopefully I think we made another step, and we'll keep doing that as we go if we get some more conference games.
Right.
Which is
up in the air.
Up in the air.
We will see. You know, he did throw the ball really well today for the most part. You know, there was a couple of passes late that some guys made some really good plays on. You know, the balls were behind him. Let's go back to the drive where they're facing a third down, and Chase, this is one of those plays. They're on Auburn's side of the field, and we did not have the lead at this point. I think it was 20-14. And again, the field opens up on the right side. He could have run. He could have moonwalked to a first down.
Yeah.
Instead, he throws back across his body to Chase Lane, who's dragging across the middle. Chase has stopped in his tracks because he sits down in between the defenders, and he actually had to make an unbelievable diving catch to his right because the ball was low and outside as Kellen tried to throw across his body. I didn't see anything on the review that said he bobbled that football. A lot of people thought they did. I didn't think so. I thought it was a first down. Okay, but a bad decision. Yeah. And then on the very next play.
Oh, man. Not a bad decision, but a bad throw, I think.
I think so, too. I think it was a bad throw.
Yeah. You got to get that ball up to Weidemeyer, who's going to win that ball even with kind of three defend. Like, the hole is there. Keep it up. Let your massive tight end go get it. Throws it too low. Nearly gets it picked. Skips off the defender's hands into Weidemeyer as he's just standing in the end zone. And I'm not going to feel the least bit bad about that one, the way the breaks had been going for us.
Yeah, and there was another iffy call on another chop block, which it sounds like, based on some feedback online, I think it was on that drive.
Yeah.
Had put us, you know, we dug ourselves out and got points out of it.
Yeah.
But, I'm not going to complain. We know how some things have gone in some of these Auburn games, and today was really no different. You know, the way Auburn's offensive line was dealing with our pressure all day. They were grabbing, pulling, tackling, doing it, and they never
doing what they do.
They did get called for it late, finally, which was cause for celebration.
Yeah, except in a situation where we declined the penalty because –
fair enough.
Which I thought was actually pretty risky. I don't know how you felt about that, but for me, 3rd and 12 versus 2nd and 22, that's not an obvious decline to me.
I think when you're playing here, I guess here's the counterpoint or
you
the
think
counter
you're just going to
argument.
come back and get 10 yards anyway on a Bo Nix scramble,
exactly,
or worse.
When you're dealing with somebody like Bo Nix,
I get it.
All that field in front of him, he's probably more apt to try to get it back with his legs and make a huge play.
Yeah,
probably you put him in like a 3rd and 12, and he's thinking, well, I got 2 downs, and he's trying to make a pass. The defense did an unbelievable job on that drive, keeping everything in front of him, putting pressure. Aaron Hansford with a fantastic open field tackle after Leal had flushed Nix to his left. So we'll talk more about the defense in a little bit. I want to talk about the running game, but the first thing we need to do is we need to call out the pregame score predictions.
Yes,
so
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you're taking care of some things on Twitter, but for the folks at home, we each make a prediction on the score. The one closest gets to opt out of the McConaughey. I'm undefeated. I've actually never had to wear the McConaughey, and that's not going to be the case again today because I believe I had A&M by 8.
You had 31-17.
Did I have 31-17, but you went 34-17?
Yeah.
So here you go. There you go. Have at it. So I nailed A&M score. Thought they would hold the Tigers.
Yeah.
Actually almost went 31-21.
Should have a really good prediction there.
It was a good prediction.
But,
I'm good at that because I'm, obviously you are not.
Obviously.
You look good in that.
Shut up.
It fits really well.
Oh, God.
Very nice. Does it smell like scotch?
No.
It should after
like
last week.
Sweat and bongo drums and marijuana.
Oh, nice. Just keep living.
Smells like one of these dumbass hats he's wearing in this.
First of all, thanks to everybody who's dialed in to watch. There's quite a few people checking us out online. Appreciate it. Had some people ask us why we do this. It's therapy.
It's therapy.
It's just therapy because even if we weren't sitting here talking about the game with you guys, we'd just be sitting over there talking about it for the next 3 hours. So,
or worse, we'd be talking to our wives about it while they completely ignore us.
They don't want to hear about this.
No, they don't care.
In fact, one of the more entertaining, I wouldn't call it entertaining, more aggravating points of the game was when
I tweeted that. Did you see it?
I did. Yeah. Mrs. Meltdown walked into the room in the 4th quarter and asked how it was going.
Asked what the score was.
Yeah, want to know what the score was. And at that point, it was a 1-point game. We kind of had that what the F look on our faces because that's how it felt all day.
After you hadn't watched a single down of the game.
Exactly. So she sees the look on her face and she just slowly backs away. So I'll just come back later.
Yeah.
One of the kids actually commented, "Hey, what time's the game today?" 11. And she said, "Oh, so that could potentially ruin the entire Saturday." Pretty much. But you know what? We win.
We did win.
And we won largely on the backbone of a dominating running game.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's run through some of those stats today for the running game. Isaiah Spiller definitely carried the load. 20 carries, 120 yards. He averaged 6 a carry. But then number 6 got in the game today. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was thinking that'd be a big talking point for us today because I think we've seen today it's time. A-Chain.
Yeah.
A-Chain. I think it's actually A-Chain. That guy's got to get more carries.
9 for 99.
Yeah.
Okay. And he wasn't busting off 20-yard runs. Okay.
No.
It was 8, 9, 10, 12, 8. He looks effortless. And I love Spiller, and I think Spiller's he's going to carry the load.
Yeah.
He's your carry the load guy. There is no doubt about it.
We're spoiled.
We are spoiled. I mean, but what Devon A-Chain does, what he brings to the offense when Spiller really needs a break and should get more breaks is unbelievable. Yeah. He is silky smooth. He doesn't – you kept saying he doesn't look like he's moving that fast.
No.
But he's getting into space, and he just slides through the defense. there must have he carried the ball 9 times. I thought he was going to house 9 of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so
the one that killed me was, I think, he thought he was going to house it too. He broke free, got into the second level, and there was just a safety between him and the end zone. And you could tell he kind of chopped his feet a little bit. It was like, I got to set this guy up. How am I going to beat him? And then get to the get 6. And the guy he had slipped 7 yards ago caught up to him. And I was like, you're not in high school anymore. Those guys are fast. They're going to run you down from behind, which he's probably not used to.
It was I think it was
still
a
great
linebacker.
run.
It was a linebacker, and Kenyon Green had him on the block and had him locked up when Chain went by. But that guy made a really good play. He never let Kenyon get into his body. Yeah. And in fact, kind of used that momentum to turn around and run him down. But you could tell he was shocked that dude pulled him down from behind.
It's like, oh my God.
I think we all were. Like I said, I mean, every time the guy got into space, I thought, boom, he's gone. Kellen added 10 for 60. And then Anias late had some really big squeeze out 3 or 4 where there was 1 or 2. Kind of, he's good at that too.
Yeah.
He gets under.
Yeah. And the touchdown was big, similar runs to how you're just describing it. And then the massive catch from Anias also on that was a third down.
That was a third down catch. And that, again, ball way behind him. He somehow reaches back and snags it as he's going to the ground. But look, overall, 47 carries, 313 yards rushing.
That's insane.
That is pretty spectacular. Auburn ran the ball well too, though. I'm looking over there on their side, 30 carries for 196. They hurt us quite a bit at times with the run. We talked about that, particularly in the second and third quarter. Yeah. While we were trying to figure some things out. Wiedemeyer just staying on the offense. Another big day for him, a bounce back week, 8 catches for 89, 2 touchdowns. Beautiful touchdown on the first one, great route.
Oh yeah.
Created and a great ball. Yeah. That was a beautiful throw and high to the back pylon, good catch, got his foot in, scared me for a minute. That first foot, the second foot hit so fast after the first one that when it's boom, boom, I got a little nervous, but pretty clear on replay, he got it in. And then the wherewithal to focus on the tipped pass on the second touchdown. And he got it. So, another good day for Jalen. Wide receivers, 7 catches. 7 catches all day, and Anias had 4 of those. So Chase Lane had 2, really important one. And Hezekiah Jones caught a pass. I can't remember that one. It says 1 for 11.
I remember that one. I think it was on a third down, actually. It was a pretty big catch. But
I might have stepped out of the room for that one.
Maybe so.
Maybe.
But regardless, we won. I think the story here is, you texted between our friends or whatever that Auburn is the team you don't want to let hang around.
Yep. You
got to step on their throat when you have a chance, because a guy like Nix, we talked about earlier this week in our college football playoff ranking show that this team, they're the kind of team that stresses our defense, particularly right now with the eye candy. They do a ton of it. You knew Chad Morris was going to throw out as much as he could at us. Right. He wants us real bad. And once they were allowed to get that running game going and lean on it, they were eating us up with it. So
and Auburn's always one of those teams that they feed off momentum, probably more so than anybody else. I don't like playing them. One of the more fascinating parts of this series is I think now, Syracuse. So Syracuse going up on Notre Dame.
7-3, going to be 7-3 soon.
In the second quarter, 10 minutes to go till the half. That's nice to see. Make them earn it.
Earn it.
We had to earn ours today. Like to see Notre Dame earn theirs.
Yeah. 1-9 Syracuse.
Ooh.
Yikes.
But we were just talking, the home team, I think is now 1-8 in this series, or 2-8.
Since we joined the SEC. I don't even know if we played them before we joined the SEC at home. But, the road team won the first 4 or 5 games in this series.
Yep.
Really bizarre stat. But,
I think the only loss was our last trip. and that was the late interception game that allowed, what's the kid's name that's now for the Patriots, the backup up there for Auburn? He's Jared Stidham. Stidham bringing them from way behind, from 2 scores down in the last couple of minutes. Really tough defeat in the Jimbo Fisher era.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a huge loss because that was a football team that was playing probably above its weight at the time. And that's Jimbo's year 1, right? You would have been a 9-win football team.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Yep.
But
that's exactly the point, because Auburn's always been that team that you don't want to let hang around. And today we let them hang around, and it had every bit the feeling of one of those games that we're better than them, we're killing them, we're driving up and down the field, we're killing them in time of possession, and we're going to let it slip away.
Right.
And, this team grinded its way back.
It did.
So,
defense got it together, kept running the football, started making some timely throws and catches and scrambles, and got it done. So, big win. Okay. Again, 31-20 A&M over Auburn. Now a 7-1 football team. And I don't know if it's a pretty win. It's pretty fun. I will tell you this.
Was it convincing enough?
Well, here's the deal, and this is what kind of drove me nuts last week. If A&M had beaten LSU, let's say the score was 40-27. Yeah, 40-27. Okay. The national media actually probably would have viewed that as a really good win. We know that because of the way they described Notre Dame winning by 13 against North Carolina.
Right.
Okay. But because our scoring was low, even though our defense played out of our minds, I think journalists and national media and talking heads are so used to points being scored in college football that they couldn't recognize that as a strong win. I actually think they might look at this one and see 31-20 and have a different mindset, because you scored in the 30s. Okay, sure. On the road, maybe after a bounce back, a bad week last week. So we'll see.
I think, we mentioned in our playoff ranking show earlier this week that the committee has already indicated that they were thinking about swapping A&M and Ohio State and moving us into the fourth spot. And that winning, convincing or winning big doesn't really ultimately affect your playoff chances, we don't think. Not in the end, not when the final rankings come out. But if we wanted to force the playoff committee's hand and make them say, okay, yeah, we've got to go ahead and swap them.
Yeah.
You needed to win, I think, bigger than we did today.
Yeah, you're probably right, especially with Ohio State doing what they did.
Yes, because they're killing Michigan State today. Or did they? Well, I don't know what the final is.
I can go look at it. But they were up they were up big. I just don't think you're going to hear much talk about how A&M won. I don't think that will be the narrative this week.
Okay.
As it goes into it. I think you probably shift to more about, talking up the fact that Ohio State did play a football game. Yeah, they're up huge. Now, look, they're playing a 2-3 Michigan State team. They're up 51-10. Yeah, they dominated the football game. Auburn's 5-3, and Auburn's dangerous. Well, now they're 5-4.
Right.
Okay? So, they are no pushover. They're a much better football team than we believe Michigan State is. But, we'll see where it goes. Like we have said up to this point, it doesn't matter. Just do what?
Just win. And we did. Again, even if you had won big today and the committee decides on Tuesday to swap us and Ohio State, even in that scenario, at the end of the day, when the final playoff rankings come out, we still, I think, would need help in front of us. And so it doesn't really matter. Just win the games, and either the help in front is going to happen or it's not. And it's going to be a great season regardless, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think going into all of this with the post-COVID schedule reshuffle, this football team is outperforming our expectations.
Massively.
Yeah, I think so. And definitely outperforming the expectations out there that we would be lucky to win 6 or 7 games on the season on a 10-game SEC schedule. That seemed to be the national consensus that we would struggle to get to that point. Here we are 7-1, We're the only loss to the number 1 team in the country, a game in which we actually stood up to them physically.
Yeah.
Just didn't quite make enough plays at the skill position to hang around.
Yeah.
In that football game. So a lot left to be played for. We'll see how it goes. We're going to keep quite a close eye on this Notre Dame Syracuse game today. And right now, Tennessee is up next.
Yes. Scheduling change earlier this week. No Ole Miss.
No Ole Miss. Am I right? Am I losing my mind? Or wait. No, I am getting confused because I think I got it backwards. We are supposed to play Ole Miss next Saturday.
Yeah.
But they got issues. They're dealing with their COVID issues. There's no guarantee that
no game is guaranteed. Yeah. This may be the end of our regular season. So
it could be.
Yeah.
It feels like Ole Miss is in a precarious situation. Who knows, what happens with us over the next couple of days. You're one test away, as we found out, from, a bad situation. So hopefully everybody gets home and without testing positive. But if they don't, then you're out for 2 weeks again, right?
Yeah.
I guess the CDC just drew back their guidelines to 10 days. So maybe that makes it more likely you play that second game.
But I don't think the SEC has adjusted their
I don't think they
guidelines.
Officially have. I think you're right. But, I bet they do pretty quick because they seem committed to getting in as many games as they possibly can.
It would make sense that they do. The SEC's guidelines that they set out before the season were based on the CDC guidelines. Right. So it's completely reasonable to say, okay, well, the CDC's adjusted theirs. We're going to adjust ours. It's not some kind of, weird political decision within the SEC to manufacture more games or something. It's just
we're going to follow the rules. We're going to
follow what they did.
Yeah. So it was interesting. So Barry Alvarez did make the comment today that the Big 12 presidents and would potentially have that discussion about Ohio State and altering their rules to allow Ohio State to qualify for the Big Ten championship. Hey, whatever. As John in Cyprus says, huge win. I'll take the W. It was funny how ESPN kept cutting to Ohio State. Their narrative was OSU is better, and look how great they're beating up Michigan State, which is like beating up Tech. I'll assume that's like Texas Tech. We're playing with house money. Just keep winning and let it ride, baby. And that's right. Keep winning, and this season, good things are going to happen. Ole Miss is one of those teams that does kind of freak you out a little bit because they can put up points.
For the same reason Auburn will, right? They're running a similar offense. They scare you. They don't have the athletes that Auburn does.
But they do have – I think they have a quarterback that can attack you downfield a lot more and has more of a natural passer.
It less scary on the ground.
Less scary on the ground. Kind of plays to our strength on the defensive line, right? You should be able to put pressure on those guys. But it's Kiffin, and Lane Kiffin can cook up points. Now, can they stop A&M? Can A&M line up and run right at them? I think they can.
Mm-hmm.
They're just too strong and they're too physical to slow down that running game. But you don't want to get in a shootout, and I think that's what A&M fans get really nervous about is the shootout game.
Right.
So, is there one out there in our future? If you tee it up on it with Ole Miss, yeah, maybe. I don't think there's a real threat there for a shootout against Tennessee. They're starting their true freshman quarterback today.
Oh, dear.
So, let's watch him, see how he plays. But regardless, sitting in, you won. You're sitting right where you want to be. And I think, well, I'll ask this question because it dawned on me earlier this week. Are Aggie fans enjoying the 2020 season? Are we having fun here or no? Are we having fun?
I don't know. I'm having fun.
You guys online, are you having fun?
You're 7-1.
Who's out there enjoying this?
You're number 5 in the college football playoff rankings.
Yeah.
There's a total crap show going on in Austin.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I could feel the flames from 3 hours away. So yeah, I'm having a good time. As much as fans can enjoy anything because we're sitting here complaining about Kellen Mond and nitpicking everything he does, and
heartbreak is a drop back away at
Sure.
any point,
Right.
or a sliced field goal, right?
Oh, yeah.
But hey, I think it's time for people to start really enjoying what this is, and it is hard in the moment, but we love to sit back and we love to pick apart everything and dissect every stinking play, and we watch these games 2 or 3 times during the week, and we get on the message boards because we love it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and some people get a little agitated by that. There's some folks out there in radio land and in fandom land that seem to start off every week with, well, everybody's raising a stink about this, and you need to think about this, this, and this. And it's like, yeah, we get it. I think people really do get it. You get the 5% of fans or less that go out on the message boards and are so dug in, and you can tell they really don't like somebody. They really don't like a player.
Or a coach.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And they've got their agenda, but that's a small minority. And I think we do need to start enjoying it more. Enjoy the back and forth. We're enjoying sitting here talking about it. We picked apart everything. But at the end of the day, it feels good. I'm not drinking that crappy bourbon. That's all I know.
Yeah. Haven't had to once this year.
Pizza's here?
Yeah.
Pizza is here.
It's been here for a while.
I think we're gonna have to hook that up. I don't know. I'm looking over here at the comments.
So many comments.
Oh, we got a lot of comments today.
Man,
so thanks for that.
People are paying attention.
Foster Maston. If we win out, we will have a better resume than Ohio State, no doubt. At that point, the only way college football playoff could put them ahead of us is if they use the eye test.
I am so glad he used the word eye test.
Ooh.
Because I am sick of hearing that word. It goes back to exactly what you were saying earlier. It's about, they're like, oh, so many more. The points somehow equate to passing the eye test. Right. And we've even heard it about teams like Cincinnati or BYU.
Yeah.
And boy, they look good with the eye test. And I think that's a load of crap.
Yeah.
I think this team, like the people screaming about eye test the most as a way to push a team like Ohio State or even Notre Dame, like they're the ones that didn't watch the game. I've heard the word eye test used about our game against Alabama and how bad we looked. And I'm like, well, then you didn't watch the game.
Yeah, you didn't watch the game.
You don't talk to me about eye tests. You didn't watch the game.
Oh man, this is hand delivered.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Very nice.
This is a once in a lifetime.
Once in a lifetime. That's great. We can't really eat on the air, but it looks
Speak for
fantastic.
yourself.
Oh, okay.
I eat on the air all the time.
Yeah,
We are not professionals.
Again, the eye test is nobody can really, at least these guys on ESPN and these other shows, they can't appreciate anymore the style of football that we play. Right? And it is grinded out, ugly, 5 yards in a cloud of dust, although I would argue it's 6.8 yards in a cloud of dust because they are in the SEC, right? It's spectacular for us to watch. It's old school SEC football, and it's definitely old school A&M football.
Yeah.
It's what we used to be, and now we're just better at it than we were then. So it's not necessarily pretty, and we'll see how it goes. Still 7-3, Syracuse over Notre Dame. Notre Dame just got the ball back with 5.5 minutes to go in the first half.
And speaking of, I would say Notre Dame doesn't really play the kind of modern football that they're talking about, but somehow they get credit for looking pretty because of those shiny golden helmets. So, Oh, look, wrapping up on Ian Book.
Ooh, boy, Syracuse is they are putting pressure on that offensive line. They are right now very physical in this game. They just put Notre Dame in a, let's call it 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 at their own 35-yard line. And they did it with pressure. So they got the sack. Looks like they're playing a pretty good game on them so far today. But that comes back to another point about Notre Dame. And I know Billy and the crew and a lot of folks have said it all week in defending A&M's victory over LSU. Notre Dame has some very close wins over some bad football teams.
And let me tell you,
that's going to get a personal foul. That's a roughing the passer, and it didn't need to happen. Got high with his arm, hit him in the head. Oh, there it is.
But yeah, let me tell you, after A&M's offensive line got kind of a lot of flack last week after playing not great against LSU, admittedly, but
Not great.
but okay.
Okay.
Not what we've become accustomed to since Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
But still okay, pretty good. And our offensive line is run people over now against even Alabama at times. Like, we have not been overwhelmed physically by Alabama's front seven, LSU's front seven, or Auburn's front seven, which
Or Florida.
or Florida's front seven. But I would say those three, Alabama, Auburn, LSU, those are probably three of the maybe top 5 or 6 front sevens in the nation. I don't care what anybody talks about. Like, I know LSU's not playing very well this year. I know Auburn isn't either. But the way they recruit, the way they play every year, those are nasty front sevens.
Yes.
And you stood up to all three of them and really dominated one of them, and you kind of got yours against LSU too, even though that was a weird game.
Hey, look, when I went back and watched it again, I actually thought the offensive line played pretty damn well. I thought for the most part, Mon had a clean pocket. He didn't have all the time in the world on every snap, but he was clean. They gave up the 1 sack. There were a couple of hits. There were some shots, as he let the ball go. But that's going to happen in this league. It's happened all season.
Yeah.
But the reality, and they blocked well. I thought they blocked pretty well up front. LSU, like we said, they were flowing to the point of attack. They've got the athletes to get there against our type of offense. But I thought the blocking was there, and we ran the ball well. We had a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think people are saying that because in that game you had more bad plays.
Yes.
The bad plays were worse than they normally are.
I would agree with
and they kind of happened at some really inopportune times. And so that's what had everyone saying, boy, at times it really killed our momentum. And so it was like, oh, offensive line play not great. And I think that's fair, but unfair at the same time. Like you said, they played pretty well most of the night. We have more comments?
We do, and they're coming in. So again, Foster, some point in the number of games you play also has to play a big factor at the end of the year, especially in a year like this. It does. It's feeling less like that's going to come into play.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ohio State's going to figure out a way to get enough games that the committee sent that message last week. That everybody says, oh well, they brought up A&M and talking about putting them in the number 4 spot. And look, that is a testament to what A&M has done, but that was more about sending a message to Ohio State. You better figure out a way to play some football games and the Big Ten, really the Big Ten, right? And so it sure seems like that's going to happen. Brendan Malloy, Kellen's gotten sacked 3 times this season. The O-line is good.
That is still an unbelievable stat to me.
It blows my mind.
Because you're not dealing with a guy that, like we said, scrambles a whole lot.
Yep.
Or at least looks to scramble a lot. He just a guy that probably holds on to the ball too much.
Yep.
And yet 3 sacks, that's incredible.
Yeah. It is unbelievable. And then to just see them blowing off the ball. Yeah, we see your comments, Brendan. We're getting there. They're just not that good. I mean, we'll read some of them if you want. I just read one.
Yeah.
But, you got to bring it today because you got some competition in the live chat. So the offensive line's been elite, which drove me nuts this week because some random clickbait college football website rated them as the 40th best offensive line in the country and 5th best in the SEC.
Wasn't that Pro Football Focus?
Yes, it was. Clickbait is strong.
It's not a clickbait group. Yeah. But to your point, I think you even tweeted about it. Like, okay, let's talk eye test again, right? Watch the games. Watch what that crew has done all year long. If your rankings come out and they're 40th, like you need to reevaluate your algorithm. Yes, something's wrong.
Yeah. You've done a bad job setting up your assumptions and your model. Yeah. The point was, I do this all day for a living. Yeah. You do this all day for a living. We set up analytical models, and when you run it that first time and you take a look at your results, you know pretty quick that you messed something up. And if I'm those guys and I look at that, I know I messed up, and I'd go back and figure out why. Yeah. So trash ranking. They are elite. And they're going to continue to be elite. So one thing, I don't know, anything else about this game today or about where we're going you want to talk about?
This game? I'm just glad it's over.
Yeah.
I mean,
Auburn scared you. Going to Auburn was
a lot.
Not a fun thought, battered Aggie syndrome coming right at us, but we got over it. We won by 11. So how many double-digit SEC wins is that in a row? I think we're now up to 5.
I think it's 5.
Yeah, I think it's 5. That is unbelievable. So as I mentioned earlier this week, the national media will probably come back and say A&M hasn't won a close game in a month and a half. A&M can't win close games. They haven't done it in a while.
Or the SEC's down this year.
Yeah, or the SEC's down. But
so I've got a handy flow chart to help you with
you
that.
Do.
If you're wondering,
you may have to
SEC's down
this
I
week.
might. Yeah.
That might be worth it.
I think it's going to be a talking point.
So
out there.
So I'm going to pivot real quick because we were talking about O-line play and D-line play and how dominant they've been. And let me tell you how huge that is, because we are now 11 days away from early signing day for this recruiting class.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who don't pay attention, A&M right now, I think they're sitting in at somewhere between like 10 and 13 nationally, with 7 spots open in their class, and 6 or 7, depending on kind of how you look at it. They are on somewhere between 8 and 10 elite football players nationally, several of which are leaning towards A&M, and most of those are in the trenches.
Yeah,
2 elite offensive linemen, really 3. And then you've got an unbelievable crew of defensive linemen and defensive ends out there that it really feels like are leaning A&M's way. These are next level talents. These are the 4- and 5-star guys that when you bring them in this kind of quantity,
right,
they upgrade. They upgrade what is already a top tier unit on either side of the ball. Guys, this is what Jimbo Fisher has been building towards. And if we can close this out the way it looks like we're going to close it out, you're going to end up with somewhere between, let's call it 6 and 8 nationally ranked recruiting class. And with those kinds of numbers, okay, because it's not a 25, 26 member class, that would be spectacular. And you build it from the inside out, and that's how you got to do it.
Be his best class yet. And you said that last week's game against LSU was huge on that front. They get bigger every week.
Yep.
So this game was also huge. You wanted to keep that momentum going, stay in the top 5 of the college football playoff rankings while the dumpster fire in Austin continues to grow and get fuel dumped on it.
You're looking at a 3-win LSU team.
Yeah.
Who might lose their last 4 football games of the year, right? And, Alabama's going to do what Alabama does, but Alabama's almost full.
Yeah.
Okay. So, it's probably going to come down to a couple of guys that are still considering OU for whatever reason. And A&M's sitting in a really good spot.
Yeah.
We know how critical that is. I'm going to talk a minute about the guys who were not there today.
Oh, yeah.
There's 2 guys out. One was Damani Richardson, which is always a big loss on the back half of the defense. We don't know why he was out. We don't know if it's injury or whatever, but he wasn't out in warm-ups and didn't play after playing last week and playing well.
He didn't travel.
That's right. Damon Demas did not travel.
No.
And that has become a pattern.
Yeah. After not being dressed last week at home. Still seemed upbeat on the sidelines. I mean, every time you see him, he's not playing, but he is cheering on his teammates and everything. That's great to see, but it's strange.
It is strange. And, here's what we know about Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher has to trust you to get on the field, but he will put you on the field. Achane, 1 yard shy of 100 yards today.
Sienna Smith last year.
Nia Smith, big part of the offense.
It wasn't game 1, but he earned it as the season went on.
Yes. And so, look, I don't want to speculate too much, but it does sound like there's just some maturity issues. And for whatever reason, the kid was back practicing this week, but he doesn't get dressed to go on the road with the football team. And now that's 2 weeks in a row that he's not in uniform.
Yeah.
and by all accounts, and Jimbo said it, not injured. Okay. So, it's other things.
COVID. Maybe.
Doesn't sound like it. Said not injury. Oh, boy.
Oh,
And
wow.
here goes Syracuse. So Syracuse, we'll step into this conversation. Surrendered a touchdown after a really bad roughing the passer penalty, an unnecessary one. 2 plays later, Notre Dame scored to go up 10-7. And now with 1:38 to go before the half, it looks like Syracuse has fumbled the football. Notre Dame picked it up, and that'll put them in position for another score before the half. Let's see what happens here. There's a drop back pass, gets hit from behind. That's going to be close. It looked like as the quarterback's going to the ground, the ball gets popped out. Haven't seen a replay. We should get it right here. He is going to the ground.
Well, shoot. I can't see
that looks down to me. But I guess it depends on what they called on the field.
That's
Right
down,
there, he's
right there.
down. Looks like he has the ball. That ball's not coming away from his body with that knee down. So if they got
better angle right here.
Better angle. We're doing this live, folks. This is live radio.
Yeah, this is great radio. They're not going to.
If they called it a fumble on the field, and I think they did, they're going to call that fumble on the field. If they called it the other way, that's one of those that would have stuck. So
I'm not sure if it's fumble there, but you can't.
I don't know, man. I don't know that because the hand that pulled the ball loose, when his knee is down, the hand's not coming away from the body. Wow, I would call that down. That's what I would do.
Well,
what's going on in the rest of college football right now?
We should check out
Alabama,
LSU.
Flip it on over there. We'll take a look. I'll pull up all the scores. We got Iowa State and West Virginia right now, too. Man. Surely Iowa State's taking care of business.
Oh, Alabama LSU play tonight. I'm sorry. So right now we got Florida and Tennessee, which we are.
Oh, my goodness. TCU came back on Oklahoma State.
That is.
That's a big comeback because they were down big. I think they were down 21-0. They were down either 16-7 or 13-0 at one point.
Yeah.
So, that's a game. 29-22 with 12 seconds left. I don't quite know. And Oklahoma State has the ball at midfield. We talked about Notre Dame, Syracuse. Looks like we're going to pop back over and see what they called. Florida only up 3-0 on Tennessee, but that's early in the first quarter. So they went down and got a field goal to start. Iowa State, 5:51 to go in the first. They are up 6-0 over West Virginia. Let's see what else is on the board. The computer is acting up. Really nothing else of note other than A&M over Auburn.
Yeah. We're going to pop over that Oklahoma State game here in a minute once we find out what happened with this review. Oh, that's a better angle. We didn't see that before.
Yeah. So Oklahoma State should be throwing a Hail Mary with 4 seconds left from midfield to try to not upset, but hold on against or win against TCU. That game has gone final. So that pass was incomplete. TCU beats Oklahoma State. And, hey, look, that hurts some strength of schedule for some other folks because they moved to, I think, 5-3 on the season. I think that's their third loss. TCU gets to 500 on the season, 4-4. And beyond that, who cares? So we're still in official review. Still trying to figure this out. Huh?
If you can't figure it out, then call stands.
Yeah,
that's just
exactly.
the way it's got to work.
That's the way it should be. There you go. Iowa State, 7-0, like we said. What's Tennessee doing? They're already in a 3rd and long from their own 30. Let's hang out. Let's hang here with Notre Dame, Syracuse, and see what the call is because this is pretty big.
Yeah.
Minute and a half. A&M's been in this situation a lot this year. If you give up points right before the half, that's brutal. You want to at least hold on to the football and run that clock out. And that's hurt us a few times. What's your thought there? Oh, yeah, I got you mid-bite, so we'll hang on.
I was just noticing that Syracuse's quarterback was named Culpepper.
Oh, wow.
They are not related, though.
All right, I'm going to look through the questions. Brendan Malloy, would you feel better about the win if we won by 14 versus 11? No, I wouldn't. I mean, would I have liked a touchdown at the end?
At the end, no.
It's all right.
I'd feel better because I wouldn't be wearing this, but
I think having that 30, if you crest 30 points, you feel good about that.
Yeah.
Whether it's 34 or 35, it would have been in that case. But
it's not going to make me feel better about being down in the third quarter twice when you really shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look, the missed field goal was pretty brutal, and you could almost feel it because you pissed away an opportunity to score points.
Touchdown.
No, he's across the goal line. Notre Dame just scored. Took them one play after getting that fumble. They were into the end zone, and like we said,
I think they're well on their way in this one.
That's brutal. A 10-7 game suddenly jumps to 17-7 right before the half. So rough one. Yeah, Seth Small missing that field goal. That was pretty rough because he just flat out mishit it. You see on the replay, the hold was good, the timing was good, but his contact was pretty bad on that one. Big 12 dumpster fire. Always. It's fun to watch the Big 12 dumpster fire in progress. Yeah, there was a lot of talk about that. It's the dumpster fire is only as hot as Texas is, providing, fanning the flames.
Yeah,
and they did get into some. They made their way into the Herb Street rant today on game day, and just like you talked about last week, Herb Street was right and he was wrong.
Yeah. And this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, and trust me, I love the cesspool Herbie rant. I love it anytime anybody is actually stopping to think about, wait a minute, why do we talk about Texas the way we do? Who are they really, or who have they been? But today, Herbie kind of made that point that outside of the Mac Brown era, what have they really done? A great run under Darrell Royal, and to be fair, a lot of wins prior to Darrell Royal as well. You don't get to, they're like top one or are they number 2 behind Michigan in all-time wins in college football? Won a lot of football games. But in terms of this perennial power, who have they really been? And all that tells you really is that hiring football coaches is hard, and that every school is capable of hiring a bad coach, because it's really hard, and you think you've got the guy, and it doesn't work out, which Texas is finding out now.
And they found out several times since the 1970s.
There's so many Tom Hermans between Darrell Royal and Mac Brown. And the funny thing is, people don't remember this, but I laugh because when Texas beat us before we went to the SEC, so that DeLoss Dodds could retire with a winning record against A&M, 17-16 over his career as athletic director against A&M. Well, if you remember, most of those 17 wins came in the Mac Brown era because he tanned our hide the entire time.
Yes.
I think we won 3 games while he was there.
Or
maybe one his first year, 2 under Fran, and I think 1 under Sherman.
Okay.
So whatever. Let's say 8-4-ish, I think, under his tenure at Texas. DeLoss Dodds didn't want to hire Mac Brown.
Yeah.
All right. DeLoss Dodds was set on hiring Gary Barnett from Colorado. Is that right?
I think that was the initial look.
Yeah. And the boosters forced his hand on Mac Brown. So that guy, pompous ass, talking down to A&M so much, would have had a horrible record against A&M if not for boosters slapping his hand saying, no, don't hire that guy. It's really hard to hire coaches. Prop Joe String on Twitter says all the time, and he's totally right, there are no elite programs. There are only elite coaches. And so what Herbie gets wrong when he's talking about Texas is this: he talks about their history as if it has something to do with their ceiling. And with an elite coach, Texas will probably be right back to where they are.
Yep.
We can talk about if Urban Meyer can really get it done there, if there's two others, maybe
Too many other
systemic
things
problems
going on.
but I don't know. But regardless,
Thank you.
it doesn't really matter. And I say that because the way Herbie is talking about Texas and the logic he's using with this kind of history rhetoric is the exact same thought process that makes people talk down to A&M.
Yep.
And makes them say, why is A&M not happy with 8-4 all the time? So yeah, it's funny to see Texas get clowned on, but I still hate that thinking permeates college football landscape because it's incorrect. It's an incorrect way to look at other programs and what's happening.
Right. Otherwise, Florida State's in the dumpster. Clemson is not who they are right now. Florida would be elite. Miami. Miami hasn't done anything of national significance since the 80s, and they were all about it in the 80s. Notre Dame.
Well, they did have a title in like 2000 or something.
Beat
the tar out of Nebraska.
You're absolutely right. My mind escapes me.
Mm-hmm.
But, look, USC floundering because they've hired some bad football coaches.
Mm-hmm.
It's why A&M went out and did what they did. And listen, here's the thing where Herbie got it right. Okay, is there is a huge, huge, huge difference in the environment that A&M had in place when they went out to hire Jimbo Fisher and the environment that Texas is in right now trying to go out and hire somebody like Urban Meyer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we've heard ridiculous amounts of money this week. We don't know what's true and what's fiction, but we're talking about, $84 million is thrown around. Is that a 7-year, $12 million a year type contract? Is that where that's coming from? It would take $10 to $15 million a year to hire an Urban Meyer into the situation that Texas finds itself in. And what is that situation? It is an administration that's moving in one direction, okay? Opposite of where the boosters, the football boosters with the big bank accounts want it to go. And I'm talking about the direction of the school and the culture. You have outside of the administration, you have a faculty that's going the other direction even faster, as well as a student
dragging the student body with it. And, a student body that comes into Texas every year there's a smaller and smaller proportion of students who give a rat's ass about football. Right.
Okay. The old money loves football. The new students, they love whatever. Okay. And I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
They're going to Texas for a different reason than a kid 20 years ago went to Texas, and nobody's on the same page. And it infiltrated into the student athletes, that division. And as Herb Street said, you have to have somebody like an Urban Meyer, who is such a strong personality with all the skins on the wall, to come in and not even be successful, just reverse that, just to turn it around. So it's going to be very interesting. They're going to have to way overpay.
Understand that either.
They don't. And if Urban says no, then what you do is you start to kick off the dominoes, right?
Yep.
And I don't care what anybody says at Texas. DeLoss Dodds will tell you to this day, they had Nick Saban. They had him. Okay. No, what you had was an agent in Jimmy Sexton who absolutely used you to get a bigger paycheck out of Alabama. I think that's what Dan Mullen's doing. The rumor came out today. Dan Mullen has, Texas is very interested in Dan Mullen.
That one's hilarious.
Good Lord. You don't understand. Man, that just tells you everything you need to know, that they're going to end up going down the pecking order, end up with their 6th or 7th choice if they don't get the first one.
Right.
If you get the first one, kudos to you. You way overpaid. You did what you had to do to make it happen. He signs up for it. Yeah. Okay. If you don't get him, these other guys, they're not coming to that situation.
No.
And then you're going to go get somebody who really doesn't have a choice.
Tom Herman.
Or Charlie Strong, which kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
I
see what really cracks me up about that one, about the Dan Mullen rumor, So let me tell you something. They will hate Dan Mullen. Like, winning cures everything, right? But that guy is he's just another version of Tom Herman that can coach. And I do think Dan Mullen's a hell of a coach. Is he good enough coach to turn Texas around fast enough before they get tired of his antics? I don't know. But if he doesn't, they're going to hate that guy. So that one cracks me up the most.
I think Dan Mullen could come in there and score a lot of points and play decent football and finish second to Oklahoma every year. I think Dan Mullen at Florida is an unbelievable fit because he can get elite level athletes to run his offense in the state of Florida from, with the SEC, and especially with what's going on at Florida State and Miami. He's the premier program. In Texas anymore, I don't think he's getting the level of athlete to Texas that he needs in order to actually win in that conference with his style of play. I think there's some guys in that conference that are ahead of him in that style of play. And I think he'd do well. Yeah. But he's not going to get them where they want to go. And what do they do when that happens? They get rid of them. And it costs them
a lot of money.
So much money. So many bags of money.
Buckets.
Buckets
so
of
many
money.
buckets
So many
of money.
Buckets of money. Yeah.
Because now you're on the buyout train again. Like we said, getting rid of Tom Herman this year is going to cost you it's going to be $40 million over his 4 seasons. That's going to cost you for him.
Yep.
And then you're going to overpay for whoever you bring in because you're going to feel like paying them less than $5 or $6 million a year makes you look bad.
Yes.
Like makes him look bad. He coaches for us, so he must be worth that kind of contract. And if he's not, then what are we doing?
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's all about optics.
Right.
Right.
So
you can't have little brother down the street, paying their guy the money they're paying him and do any less. I mean, hell, that's how Tom Herman ended up with a huge paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what
beating
it is.
Georgia had something to do with that. But,
well, okay, fair enough. Completely disinterested. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And now Notre Dame just scored another touchdown with 5 seconds to go in the half.
14
this
points in the
over.
last minute and a half.
This one's over.
Well, so much for Syracuse standing up to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's find another football game. Stanford, Washington? Do they even play football anymore?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Georgia, Tennessee? Okay.
Florida, Tennessee.
I'm sorry. Still 3-0.
3-0. We're a whole quarter in, and Florida's punting away.
Wow. So only 3 points against Tennessee so far in this football game. Florida downs it inside the 2-yard line where Tennessee will take over with 23 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
It's not looking convincingly.
Well, it's not very convincing so far. I guess we'll just see how it goes. Now, Florida started off slow last week and then kind of got it rolling in the second half. I don't know, man. That feels like we kind of killed it today and we've beaten it all to death. Our therapy session feels good. I feel better about everything now. Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else left to cover, Mr. McConaughey? It's beautiful.
No,
Giant McConaughey right here on the camera. I can see it. It just screams out at the people.
No, only I'll say, if anyone's still listening, we've done a couple of college football playoff ranking shows.
Yes.
They do that show every Tuesday at 6:00.
Yeah.
And we did kind of instant response. I think let's do that again this week because I think it's going to be very interesting to see what happens.
It will. I don't expect anything to change. I think the chalk will hold, and that's not really the right. Anyway, I think the top 6 is going to stay the top 6, and we'll have to see what happens the rest of the way. But thank you guys. Subscribe to the channel, share it out to friends, share out the video because actually it's a live video right now. We will repost it as like a permanent video. We'll share that one out too. Really appreciate you guys jumping on. Hopefully it was fun. Make sure you go jump on TexAgs and find the post-game wrap. That should be a fun one today. And we'll see you Tuesday at 6:00. Okay. Bye.
Awkward wave.
Yeah.
All
Gotta
right.
do it.